Friday without Wigan against St Helens, Wigan 24, St Helens 14. What a game at the Brick Community Stadium. There's controversy, there was great tries. It had a bit of everything, didn't it? Let's unpack this little beauty, shall we? Started so well, didn't it, for the Wigan Warriors? It has to be said. Abbas Miski, of course, on 2 from Miski in this game, 2 from field. The first field try. Yes, that's what we're talking about. Lovely play from Betfred. Have a little bit of the telepathy. We saw it last week at KR, and now we see it again at home against St Helens. A wonderful score. Betfred, over you go. Okay, in you go, sir. Have a little bit of that. What a try that was from Jai Field. Incredible stuff from the Wigan Warriors, fully deserving of their 12-2 lead at half-time. And then, of course, back out we come for the second half, and it was a good knock. But before we get to the second half, a couple of controversial decisions, or not, as I would see it anyway. First of all, Moses Mbai on Zach Eckersley. There was a lot of people in our WhatsApp group saying it was a straight red like Cade Cust earlier in the day. Absolutely not. You could clearly see that Eckersley ducked into the challenge. That's the mitigation. He did lose height right at the point of collision, and that's why, for me, it was the right decision that Moses Mbai went for 10 and not sat down permanently. Exactly the same as well for Sam Walters with Benison. Benison slips. What's Walters supposed to do? Yes, it's direct contact to the head, but it's an accident. He slips. He's losing height at the point of collision. Both yellow cards for me. I've got no issue with both of those decisions. I think that for me was squeaky clean and fair. No issues here, Mr. Kendall, on those two. And who handled that better? Well, it was the Wigan Warriors again. Lovely little short ball from Harry Smith into Jai Field again. Over he goes for yet another score. A really, really good effort. And then, of course, back come St Helens. I mean, form goes out the window. We keep saying Saints aren't playing well. They went into this game 4th in the league, and let's be fair, they really did give Wigan a fright, no doubt about it. The Lewis Murphy try. I mean, we said at the start of the season when they signed Lewis Murphy, this guy is a player. He was outstanding at Wakefield. His strike rate there was superb. It didn't work for him down under. I think of all of the signings that St Helens have made. I mean, Phelps good as well, don't get me wrong, but I think Lewis Murphy is that little diamond in the rough for St Helens. I think he's going to be a very assured and astute signing for years to come. This kid, for me, is class. Took his try superbly well on the day. And then, of course, Ignatius Parse. What a beautiful prop forward run that was. Have a little bit of that from Ignatius. Oh, over you go, sir. And suddenly, it's 18-14. The game is in the melting pot. And then Tristan Saylor. I mean, let's talk about Saylor. I mean, for me, I'm not convinced. I have to say, it's like they bought this player. Where's he playing? They bought him as a 6. He's not a 6. So now they've had to move Jack Wellesby into 6 and put Saylor at fullback. I think he demonstrated in this game he's not quite right there. What are you going to do with Tristan Saylor? Because at the moment, for me, that's a problem that they can ill afford St Helens. They've got to, for me, he's not in the starting 13. For me personally, I think you lose too much when you put Wellesby in the house. He's got to play at fullback. It takes away so much strike. Saylor is no Wellesby at fullback. So why would you weaken the side? And this is the problem. By putting Saylor in the team, you're either going to be ineffective in the halves at this moment in time, or you're taking away one of your biggest strike weapons in Wellesby out of the game from fullback, because that's his best position by a country mile. That's a massive problem for Paul Wellens. Of course, he kept George Whitby in. We were debating on captain's run. Would he keep him in? Would he move to Lomax? He decided to keep, the young lad in, and he didn't disappoint, did he? He had another really good game. You can see that he's got the tools to be a fantastic player as young George Whitby. Didn't really, for me, put a foot wrong. He had some nice moments in the game. It's a big headache again, a servant like Johnny Lomax, to be left out of a side. But at the moment, you've got to play players on form. Johnny, by his own admission, would agree. He hasn't been in great form this season. It's right that Whitby's got his chance. But with Saylor, you've just got to... Do you put Mbai in? I don't know. I really don't know. I think St Helens at the moment, it's like, it's a jigsaw puzzle. I think there is a picture there, but at the moment, there's a lot of pieces still. You're trying to find where they go. It's just not looking quite right for Saints. And it's yet again a defeat against a team that finished above them in Super League last year. They've fallen to Warrington. They've fallen to KR. They've fallen to the Wigan Warriors. That's a problem. That's a big problem for Paul Wellens. people keep saying it's a team in transition. I think it is. And I think Saints have got to wake up to the reality that at this moment in time, they haven't got a team that look like they're capable of going and winning the grand final. They might actually put egg on my face at the end of the season. I don't know. But they just don't look that way. And of course, Tristan Saylor, it's criminal that he put that ball down because the game was right in the balance. I didn't think Saylor had a particularly great game. He ran around a little bit, but there was no real end product to it. Yes, okay. People will say he got the assist. But for me personally, I'm not convinced. I don't even think St. Helens fans are convinced. And of course, Miski says, thank you very much. I'll get my second try and we'll win the game by 24 points to 14. I never, ever saw St. Helens winning the game. Throughout the game, I felt that, Wigan, they weren't in a dinner suit. And don't get me wrong, at 18-14, the game was on. It was 100% on. And you've got to give St. Helens so much credit in that second half. The way they went about the business, the way they brought themselves back into the game, that's really good. And yet again, Paul Wellens coming into so much abuse online to be sacked. I mean, I'm sorry, but you haven't got a divine right to win things, St. Helens. You really, really haven't. You've got to wake up to that. You can't keep chopping and changing your coach. At this moment in time, for me personally, Paul Wellens has been dealt a bit of a hand in the fact that some of his more experienced pros are coming to the end of the career. He's losing players like Morgan Knowles at the end of this season. Yes, if he had his hand in on recruitment, yeah, you've got to question some of the signings that they made. I would say that, absolutely. Certainly Saylor. I just don't see where he fits, quite frankly. It's really interesting to see what's going to happen there at St. Helens. But let's be fair, as the weekend ends, they're still up there. Nothing's won in round 8. As for the Wigan Warriors, a brilliant win this for them. Of course, a great win last week against KR. To then go and beat St. Helens on Good Friday must have felt so good for Matty P and all of his team. They had to work for it, but they got the job done. That's what they do. Time and time again. Outstanding stuff from the Wigan Warriors. Like I said, I thought Jai Field today really, really assured. He's getting my first point. I'm going to go straight to me 3-2-1. I'm going to give Jai Field a point. I have to. I just felt he was class today. He didn't do as much running as normal, but, his positional play, he was there when it counted. The telepathy with Bevan French, the short ball from Smith, a great line from Jai Field. It looked easy. Why? Because 1, the pass was great, and 2, the line was superb. And that's why that try looked so easy. Jai Field in incredible form for the Wigan Warriors. No question about that. The 2 points I'm going to give to Sam Walters. Yes, with 10 minutes on the bench, he still, for me, produced a set of numbers. And for the when he was on the field, he was, again, the best front rower on the field. I mean, don't get me wrong, we've got to give credit yet again to Alex Walmsley, who ran his blood to water, 14 carries, 132 metres from him. He also got 3 tackleables. We've got to give him a note in dispatches. I thought Morgan Knowles had another good game as well for St. Helens. But Sam Walters, playing in prop, normally a back row forward. It's the second game in a row he's played in the front row. 44 tackles, didn't miss one. Didn't miss one. That's the second game running. He hasn't missed a tackle. That's incredible. Absolutely incredible. He's backed up KR like you wouldn't believe. Only the 2 tackleables, but 17 carries for 105. Had he remained on the field, perhaps he'd have got at least another 10, maybe another 15 metres on top of that. But it's his defensive work. He's playing in the front row. He's doing front row minutes. He's working so hard, carrying the ball down the middle for the Wigan Warriors, doing some really good work indeed. And then he's backing up in defence. I mean, Matty Lees is quality in defence. He got 38 tackles in this game. He missed 1. 44 tackles, missed none. That's how well Sam Walters is playing. Matty Lees, we all had our view on Matty Lees last year in terms of the dream team. Personally, I thought Herman SAS should have been in that shirt, but he was a dream teamer last year. That's in the record books. And for a dream teamer to be outplayed by Sam Walters out of position, you've got to tip your hat to that. 2 points for Sam. Well played, sir. And 3 points to the architect, to the man that just, yet again, I can't believe there are times when I read utter drivel on the Wigan Facebook pages calling out Harry Smith. Harry Smith is quite simply, no doubt about it, the most consistent number 7 in the competition, bar none. Yes, Aidan Caesar's having a good season for Hull FC, but trust me, Harry Smith is a Rolls-Royce number 7. His game management is absolutely off the chart. 2 wonderful assists in this game from him. His kicking game was superb. 5 attacking kicks in the game. He got 4 goals out of his 5 attempts. He's 18 kicks in general play. He was, again, the marshal, the architect. That's what he was. If Dad's Army was here and was saying, who are you kidding, Mr. Hitler? The first person you put in a sergeant or a major's uniform would be Harry Smith, because let me tell you now, the beaches and trenches of Normandy would have been ingrained great hands with big Harry Smith there. He might not be big, but his stature elsewhere is incredible. So Harry Smith, for me, he's the man. No doubt about it. He deserves the 3 points. On Derby Day, you need your players to stand up and be counted. You need those game managers to be stood up and to be counted. And from a George Whitby perspective, he needs to go back and look at this, because believe me, if he wants a really, really good role model for his development, Harry Smith, keep watching the tapes of Harry Smith, George, because let me tell you now, if you can produce games of excellence like Harry does week in, week out, you, my friend, will go a long, long way. You're not a bad player as it is already, but let me tell you, these are the type of role models that you need to be looking at to make sure that you are the next potential England number 7, because at the moment, why not? Why not, Mr. Whitby? Why not? What a game. What a game. He never, ever fails to deliver some of the hits as well. I mean, there was a point, I can't remember who he hit, but Harry Smith put a shot on. Boom! Have a little bit of that. It was like, bang, get down, son. No dramas whatsoever. Harry Smith, outstanding. What a performance from him. The Wigan Warriors, there was nothing in it. There was nothing in the game. You look at completed sets, there was one hit, 29-28. The ball run meters were less than 150 between him. The errors, 12-8 in Saints, 12 errors to the 8 that was produced by the Wigan Warriors. One of the areas that I think, yet again, saying that, he was 4 more penalties from Wigan in this game than there was for St. Helens. But like I say, all in all, I don't think nobody can argue, can there? Wigan deserved to win the game. The 2 contentious decisions were called perfectly well from Chris Kendall. The only thing that really surprised me was that, was the try that was chalked off Harry Smith. That was never a try. People say, well, what's the pre supposed to do? He went through the line. He went through the line, Dave. What's he supposed to do? Yeah, but he impeded George Delaney. I'm sorry, you can't do that. He came back, yes, he was passive to a point, but the moment Delaney clatters into him like that, he's then become, active again, and you've got to chalk that off. So I think, again, from a cherry and white perspective, look, they won't really care now one way or the other, but had the game gone the other way, they might have looked back at that and said, that was a bit harsh. No, it wasn't. I think, again, Kendall got that one spot on. But all in all, Wigan Warriors continue their march up the table. They've had a slowish start. They've not been as brutal, as good as perhaps people were expecting them to be, but they're now in second spot. They've gone above Hull FC. They will remain there at the end of round 8. Well done. Well done to Wigan Warriors. Fantastic derby. 2 brilliant games, those 2 today. We will be back with more in the sheds later in the weekend. Of course, we've still got the Leeds Rhinos, Huddersfield Giants today, and of course the 2 games on Saturday. But that's in the sheds for this Friday. We hope you've enjoyed them. We'll be back very soon.